All right, today on the show we have somebody we both go way back with. Can I even say Brian Goyette? Is it Brian Goyette music at this point? I don't even know. I don't know, like, is it country music singer now? Is that how we're going to address it?
Aspiring still.
Aspiring country music superstar?
I mean, there's a single out, 3 songs,
Yeah.
an EP.
Yeah, so yeah, aspiring country music superstar is going to be the tagline here. Absolutely.
Come on, dude.
All right, well,
You choose whatever one you want. Let us know.
All right, well, feel free, man. I'd love to, obviously, we know you, but I'd love for you to do a quick little intro to anyone tuning in who may not.
Yeah. So what's up, y'all? Like they said, my name's Brian. I went to high school and even probably further back with these two guys here. Just recently moved out to Nashville from Wisconsin about 2 months ago to pursue the dream, pursue country music. And, I do have the 3 songs that are out that I released in February.
Congratulations on that as well. That's amazingly exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was definitely a huge moment for me, and it was kind of crazy because the single is titled Montgomery Drive, and the day after I released it, I left Greendale, which is what the song's about, and moved here. So it's kind of just like very, I don't want to say bittersweet. I'll probably say poetic to a point. It was just when that was all happening, it was just very surreal. But yeah. So basically, I'm here trying to find my legs in Nashville.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, let's kind of go back to Greendale for a minute. So, really walk like a lot of people love music. I mean, I'm myself obviously a huge music fan, but not everybody, actually kind of starts to do something with it. So, kind of walk me through, what that path looks like. So, obviously, I know you listen to more than just country, so you chose to go into country and stuff like that. So, walk me through kind of those formative years of you deciding, hey, I'm gonna actually pursue something with this music thing.
Yeah, man. So I mean, growing up, I'll go kind of abbreviate
Take it back, yeah.
before that, but like growing up, my music taste wasn't country at all. It was like alternative punk rock and rap, which makes it kind of crazy.
Absolutely. A little bit of a switch from that to
It's kind of nuts. But then I would say probably beginning in high school, when I started hanging around more of the people that I did in high school, I was introduced more to country, and that's what all of them listened to. So it kind of just, I don't want to say it was forced down my throat, but I was listening to it all the time.
Not by your choice.
yeah.
And eventually I kind of started taking a liking to the hooks and just the melodies and like how they tell stories and all that. And I remember probably, I think it was the summer of my freshman, going into our sophomore year, Sutton, our sophomore year,
Mhm.
going to Summerfest and just literally just going to all these country concerts. And that's when it all just kind of hit me.
I love it.
And, from there, it kind of just, I gradually decreased in the other 2 genres, and country just went up until, basically now country is like every Friday when I go to look at new music, it's really the only thing I'll look at other than maybe just a couple here and there, pop and some R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then when it comes to more like my personal journey with music, I've loved music my entire life, and I've always known that I could sing to an extent. And I picked up a guitar my freshman year of high school, and I learned like 5, 6 basic chords so I could play songs and sing along to them. I never really developed that skill because I never really saw it as something more than just a hobby until fast forward to my senior year of college, and I had started putting music on Instagram, like just covers. And I was doing that for about a year, and I was actually starting to get reached out to by various different like small labels in Nashville. I had a television series reach out to me asking me what I was doing with music.
I definitely want to talk about that for a minute.
Like right before COVID hit was when I just kind of thought, like, I had dropped out of school and was like, I think it's just time for me to stop running from this thing that I've loved for so long and just like kind of take it head first. I had set the goal to move to Nashville in January of 2021. And I probably set that goal in March of 2020, right before COVID hit. So of course, as I'm like, okay, I'm going to move to Nashville, COVID strikes. So luckily enough, I was able to like continue to work in Wisconsin and just kind of build my bank account so I'd be able to afford to move down here. And right before I left, I had recorded those 3 songs. And like I said, now I'm here with 3 songs. So it's been kind of a crazy ride, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, I'll you know, obviously a lot to deconstruct there, but first and foremost, I want to, you know, really push to your consistency, especially on the cover side. I know that that was something that I think you had said a year. I don't remember the exact timeline of how long you were doing that, but really a testament to you to, you know, consistently continue putting that stuff out. And I'm not, you know, someone that can play guitar or this and that, but I mean, you've seemingly covered, you know, everything under the sun in my mind, you know, as far as country music goes. And you've actually introduced me to a ton of country because I'm obviously, you know, at my core, not a country music fan either. And I've kept, you know, majority of the stuff that you actually wind up covering. So props to you for that too. But
Appreciate it.
absolutely. But like kind of like walk me through like what, you know, prompted the covers. I mean, I know that's kind of maybe a traditional start to know where it goes, but did you really have any like real aspirations to even start, you know, like, or goals from doing that? Or was it more like, hey, I'm just gonna, you know, learn these songs, put it out and just kind of see what comes of it?
You know, it started as like a therapeutic thing almost because, you know, going to music and playing music and singing was always something that I would do to just kind of like detach myself from what was going on from in my life. And it was just, I could go and take however much time I wanted, if I had time in the day, to just go play and sing and just do what I love. And I was like, you know what, I might as well put it out there to let other people hear it because, you know, I love doing it. And I know people who watch my videos can see like emotion behind what I'm doing because I've heard it many times. People tell me that. And so that's kind of just where it all started because, you know, I just was doing it so much. I loved it so much. I was like, I want to share this with people. And from there, the following kind of just grew and grew. And here I am now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what, and about what time would you say you started to, I mean, or if it was even beforehand, started to make the transition to writing your own stuff? I mean, there's a lot of people out there that obviously do covers of songs that, you know, and then kind of stay in that realm really. So what, and about what time, and as I said, it might have even been before you started and it was strategic, but at what time did you start, you know, putting a pen to paper and actually saying, hey, you know, I want to do something original here?
That was probably about a year after I started the music page and was doing all the covers because I had actually taken a phone call with a record label in Nashville the summer of 2019, I believe that was. And he was just asking me, he's like, so like, what are your goals with music? Like, what is your path here? And I really didn't have one at that point. And he told me, he was like, well, I think you should start like seriously thinking about it. And one of the main things that you should do, if you haven't already, is to start writing and just write. You know, one main thing that he said that kind of stuck with me is like, you can write 1,000 bad songs, but the minute you write one great song, it could just propel your career.
1,000%.
He just told me, he's like, man, just stay on top of it. If you want to do this for real, you're going to have to start writing. And for a couple months after that is probably when I had always had ideas for like hooks and like just little things I thought would be great in the song. But I didn't like start to actually do it because I took the phone call with this guy and I was like, okay, like I still don't know if this is something that I'm really considering because I was still in school and I wanted to graduate and just kind of music was on the back burner. But I don't know. I remember the first song I ever wrote, I was just sitting in class one day and I was just thinking about it and I'm like, dude, this would be sick. So I pulled up my laptop and I wrote this song in like 45 minutes in class. And it's one of the songs that I released.
Oh, really? I was actually going to ask because like a lot of people's first shit that they start putting down is shit. So it's like that's like pretty cool that actually like something like click like that, like right out of the gate. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's actually the one that I'm like most proud of.
What song was that, by the way? Yeah.
It was Never Off the Table.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's a super clever hook on that song.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. I got that
Awesome.
idea.
I also watched another podcast where you kind of went over how you wrote that.
Was that the Friends one you mentioned? Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched.
That's the Friends one, man. A little Ross and Rachel action. I had that idea for like so long before I had even thought of writing songs. I was like, huh, that'd be a cool hook on a song. And I was just like, you know what? Let's just freaking do it.
Yeah, if no one else is going to, I'm about to step up to the plate, right?
And Luke Combs actually came out with a song that was very similar, like the idea of that right after I wrote it. And I was like, I don't know, it kind of like, I don't want to say validated how I felt after I wrote it, but it was just cool to see, like, I don't know, the similarities and like songwriting and all that.
Absolutely. And it's like, hey, like I'm actually onto some with the ideas here, and
Yeah.
it's awesome. I want to unpack a few of the things that you kind of mentioned there. So I was watching an interview with Russ, I want to say a week or two ago, and he mentioned, I don't remember what podcast he was on or what interview it was, but he had mentioned exactly what you just said, or what the label told you. And he had said, you know, he was more pertaining to beats, but he basically said they're basically reps. It's like going to the gym. He's like, you know, not every rep is going to be great. He's like, you're going to do hundreds of thousands, you know, all of these reps before you're actually, you know, consistent and doing a good job. He's like, but when you start to see, you know, like, oh, hey, that was a better form, that was better, and I'm, you know, putting a little bit more words to it. But he's basically, every beat and every song that you make is just another rep, and not everyone's going to be great, but everyone, even if you end up trashing it, was another rep to get you closer to that perfection point. So it just kind of resonated to me when you mentioned, you know, you write, you know, 100 bad songs, but those are all reps on the journey to creating one that you're really proud and worthwhile, proud of, and that's worthwhile.
You know, like basically everything you do is just, it's practice leading up to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, leading up to the ultimate goal. Like obviously every song you write, you're not going to cut in the studio. It's not going to be on, like, you might not even record it anywhere, like, or sell it to anyone. But yeah, like you guys said, like, it's all just about the repetition, the practice, just getting the hang of how you want songs to flow and like finding your own style.
Absolutely, and that actually leads perfectly into where I was looking to go next. So you start, you know, writing these songs. Do you have any idea in mind with what style you want to write? Do you have any idea of what image you want to portray, or what's going through your mind at this time, or are you just writing to write?
I don't really know how else I can explain it. My like main philosophy when I'm writing songs is I don't want to just like, I mean, and this might sound like I'm retracting from the just repetition aspect, but like I want what I'm putting on paper to like kind of just flow from my head. I don't want to like be sitting there and like thinking super like intently about how like the intricacies and stuff. Like I want it to just flow out of my head.
Absolutely.
So if find myself just like sitting there getting frustrated with writer's block, I'll like take a step back and I'll just like go do something else to try to get the juices flowing again. But like, yeah, there's not necessarily like, I don't know, the stuff that I have written so far has just kind of come out as I was doing it.
So you obviously, you know, you write that first song. Did you have that luck with the next two, or where were you at? So, you know, you got the 3-song, you know, single out. Where did that kind of lead? Did you write the next 2 songs, or do you start writing a catalog at that point, or where do you kind of go after that first song, you know, kind of hits?
Yeah, so after the first song, I think I wrote a second one almost like the same week. And that one I just pulled off of like, I like had a personal experience going on, and I just like pulled from that. It came out like pretty nice. You know, it's not one of, I would say, my better ones, but I still was pretty proud of it. And this was also at the time, like I was saying, the television show thing was.
Yeah, so actually, like, walk us through that, because obviously it's a pretty cool story.
I was actually reached out to by some producers, casting people from a television show that was going to be like a new music dating show on ABC. That's what they told me. And, you know, I kind of just slowly but surely, like, they kept pushing me along through the process, interview after interview, until I was finally like offered a part on the show. And I was like, what the, like, because I hadn't like heard from them in a long time. And I was just kind of like signing up for my classes for the next day or for the next semester. And like, I hadn't almost thought about it for like a month and a half, 2 months. And they called me, they're like, yeah, so we're going to offer you a contract to be on the show. And I was like, whoa. Right at that time was when they like announced like the title of it all, and it was actually the Bachelor sub series.
I'm sorry, it's just like just knowing you, that's amazing.
So I was like, whoa. But I never like, I don't know, I didn't put two and two together until I actually saw it on like the paperwork and stuff, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I was there, I was ready to film, and unfortunately I was the last cut.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, definitely did not know that. So, like, so you were there? Like, was it just like, what was that process? Like, that's just so interesting to me.
Where was it shot? Did you have to like travel?
Yeah, that's kind of
where is it?
going.
I have no idea.
Like,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that.
It was shot in LA. So I was in LA, ready to film. We were just doing like a bunch of pre-production stuff. And yeah, unfortunately I was just the last cut the day of filming. They said the interview process was still underway, and unfortunately I was the last cut. So, you know, at the time I was like, I don't think I fully processed it when it was all happening, because it happened so fast. They just kind of like got me out and got me back home. But yeah, I mean, I just remember getting back to my house in Greendale, and you know, I had dropped out of classes, and I was just talking to my parents. I was like, so like, what's my next move? And we were just talking about it. And I remember just sitting at home with my mom one night, and I was like, I think like I should just try to pursue this, because people are like reaching out to me.
Yeah.
I didn't even pursue that. They pursued me. So what happens when I actually put like my best foot forward and try with this?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I mean, obviously, so that kind of step happens. You start putting, you know, that foot forward. At what point you're like, all right, I'm gonna get in the studio and start, you know, putting these tracks together? How did you pinpoint the 3 tracks, or you know what? Yeah, kind of the same question. Like, walk me through that process of, okay, we're gonna hit the studio for the first time. I mean, it's a huge step from doing covers, you know, sitting in a basement or bedroom, you know.
Yeah, so that all kind of happened super fast. And I have a buddy who he went to Greeno with us. His name's Mark Soriano.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, I spent some time with him last winter, actually, when I was back in town. It's awesome.
And he's like, ever since I remember, because I went to elementary school with him.
He's a great guy.
And we were buddies with him. I was buddies with him then. And ever since I can remember, he loved music. And I knew he was still doing stuff with it. But he reached out to me in probably like October, and he was like, hey, man, like I see like what you've been putting out, and like I like love the sound of your originals. And at this point I probably had like 9 or 10 written, because right after I got home from LA was when I like just kind of went on a writing binge. But anyway, he just was like, I know a guy who like owns his own studio and in his basement, and he's been like recording for people during quarantine. So if you'd want to come and record some tracks before you get out to LA. And I was like, dude, yeah, that sounds great. Like, let's do it. So we set up studio time for January, which was originally my goal to move down here. But I was like, dude, if I can get some tracks like
absolutely
out and ready to go, that would be perfect. So, you know, there was Montgomery Drive was always going to be one that I was going to record right away, because, you know, just the deep meaning behind that song. And I always knew that I wanted that to be like the title of either an EP or album or single. So I knew that one was coming out. Never Off the Table, like I said, was the one that I wrote first, and it had always been my favorite one.
I mean, that's like your first love. I mean, your first song, there is always like a first love at that point too.
I had a lot of emotional attachment to that song.
Absolutely. So
I had to write that one or record that one. And then Hey, which is the third one, I just it has a different feel than the other 2 songs. And like all 3 of the songs are very different when it comes to like the theme. So, you know, I thought like Hey is like the upbeat, like kind of like happier song, I would say. And then you got Never Off the Table, which is like the breakup song. And then Montgomery Drive, which is the, you know,
hometown,
your home, hits you in the nostalgia. So I thought they all kind of contrasted each other enough, but at the same time, you can kind of hear the similarities in the style. So I just felt like they all complemented each other really well. So that's why I chose those 3 to record.
Absolutely. And then I think I saw in the other interview as well. So you found out, I've known for a second, I can't stand how they run it, but you found out the hard way that a single is 3 songs, right?
Dude, yeah, that is.
I can't stand that, because it's like, as a music fan, and like that's literally an EP. It's an EP. It's not, because like you want people to know that there's more songs. With I can't stand that. So
It's just weird how, I mean, it's not, I guess it's not weird, but like I always, whenever I would see other artists put out songs like that or put out like projects like that and have it being labeled a single with like multiple songs, I was like,
Why are you doing
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
it's stupid. Like
Yeah. And then when I find out, like, I'm literally trying to like type out like, okay, it's going to be titled Montgomery Drive EP.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, if you put this in there, it'll be deleted and you might not even get this. Like,
You might not get placed.
it might be released when you want it to be released. I was like, dude, this is dumb. Whatever.
Do you like think about cutting another song
Yeah.
or two to get it to an EP, or was that never on the table?
Or even vice versa. Did you think about maybe just releasing one and maybe doing another one like a separate time?
I did think about that. A fourth song wasn't really an option just because like the time crunch I was on, because I like really wanted to just get down here to kind of
of course.
be here. When I was thinking about releasing them all as a project or just as each individual singles, I felt like they were all like, it was all like, we recorded them all at the same time, obviously. And just like, when I'll go back and think of that single EP, whatever, I'll like think of the times we had in that studio. And like, I don't know, I just felt like those three would they made more sense to be put out all together. And just like, it was a good way for me to just get like, having 3 songs out there before I moved down to Nashville, able to promote myself that way. And like having all those different kind of styles of songs out. So people, if they hear me playing out at a bar or something, they can look me up and they can see like, oh, so he can write something like this, that, or that. So I just thought ultimately those 3 as a project together made more sense.
Absolutely. So now we'll kind of hit that part of the journey then. So now you drop this EP. For the first time. I mean, the world hearing music for the first time from an artist's perspective. Obviously, as a big music fan myself, I'm always interested in that portion of interviews and hearing about that. Like everyone's experience of letting that out to the world is a little bit different. So kind of walk me through. I mean, like one morning you wake up and that shit's out there.
Yeah.
Like kind of like walk me through like how that was for you.
Like it was crazy. I remember like, because obviously I stayed up like release night.
Well, of course, yeah. Waking up was not the right term. Thursday at
Thursday at 11 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there with my mom and my brother, and it came out. We say, "Hey Alexa, play Brian Goyette."
Oh, that's crazy, man! I fucking love it.
And it was just okay, playing Montgomery Drive single, and I'm like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like, and even so, like when you put the songs out, you have to put it at a specific quality too. So like, I was still like intently listening because each streaming service has a different quality that they play it with, and like different wavelengths and stuff.
So the artist in you is still like, I'm excited, but I'm still cautiously like,
yeah. But then, the next day was like right before I was moving. My friends threw me this big going away at like single release party, and that's kind of where it was just like,
that's amazing, man.
Yeah, like I've got music out here, and like I can search my name instead of just going to like my voice memos files and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty damn surreal. And then of course, it didn't really last very long because I was just getting ready to move.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you were in hyperdrive regardless. So it sounds like it was just a short-lived moment there of like.
Yeah, it was definitely a very busy time at that point.
Absolutely.
But yeah, even so, man, it was still the craziest thing. And I can still see myself, like, as I start releasing more music in the future, like even just seeing like each individual song that I put out, I'm going to be so just like, it's going to hit me. I hope I get that same feeling because it was crazy. And I know the next like stuff that I'm working on right now, like I'm really excited to put out. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So like, so the EP's out, you're obviously, the friends throw it and stuff, but, outside of all of us, being, thrilled and, ecstatic to be hearing some of the tunes, what have you kind of gotten from outside reception? Like it's always one thing to hear your friends' opinions and stuff, but hearing some stuff from a little bit outside the network, what has that reception been, I suppose?
Yeah, I've grown a considerable fan base on my Instagram, and I was promoting the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
And I only heard good things. Obviously, always room for improvement. But for the most part, I mean, Montgomery Drive is the one that people have been hitting home on because, I mean, a lot of my listeners obviously are from Greendale and from my area, so they
Of course.
can resonate with that one.
Got those hometown fans, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, I've heard good things. I played them down here a couple times.
That's what I was gonna ask next. Like, yes, like how is that? Like, so you playing live, and stuff like that, and like, are you playing the songs? What's the reception?
Yeah, I've still got like a lot going on outside of the music realm because I'm still trying to move into like a permanent apartment and all this stuff.
Life, yeah.
That whole life thing.
Yeah. That whole life
Everything
thing that goes
else.
on outside of the.
But yeah, I mean, I played a little open mic writers round a couple weeks ago, and yeah, everybody told me, they're like, yeah, man, like that's got like sick hook. Like I love that verse in this song. Like every song that I sang, somebody had something good to say about it. So I'm pretty confident in stuff that I've been writing.
I love that. So now we'll kind of get to Nashville, which is obviously, first and foremost, congratulations on the move. That's a huge thing. It's a huge step to take. Moving across the country is not, is not something to overlook. But kind of walk me through, like, obviously Nashville, country capital of the world. What are your biggest, I guess, goals being down there? Like, you're going to some open mics. Is it, what are, you just got down there, I know, but what are you trying to do? Like, what are you eating up first? Is it going to the open mics, building connections? What's high on your priority list being down there?
A lot of it right now, it's got to be the building connections and networking out here. Like, it really is just a who you know business. Just about everybody down here that I've met is doing something with music.
Yep.
So, the competition's just like, this is the cream of the crop down here. Like you said, country music capital.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put myself in the position to meet some good people that have similar views and ideas with me. And then, hopefully once stuff starts slowing down and I start like really just getting settled into my life here, my next main goal is really to just go out and play as much as I can, because you got to get your name out there somehow.
Absolutely.
Obviously I got a job right now that'll help me pay the bills, but I eventually want this to become just the thing that I do once I start getting more and more comfortable with it. And, if I can, like, I don't plan on stopping releasing music. Like, that's going to keep coming. And, I don't know, hopefully the right people hear me and I can start building like a real career off of this.
So now I kind of want to talk about, like, obviously, let's talk music a bit. So you had mentioned earlier that it's kind of not putting out everything that you write, but some people, that's actually a huge philosophy that's kind of changing, in music, where people are, and I'll go back to it, like, I'm obviously a huge proponent of Russ and, his work ethic, his approach and stuff like that. But you don't see that much in country. So what are your kind of thoughts on that, about putting out content? Is it more, the consistent singles, you're looking for albums, or, are you being really particular, or are you just saying, hey, anything I make, someone out there might love, and I'm going to put it all out? Where are you kind of falling on that spectrum as it sits today?
Ultimately, like, albums is kind of like how I listen to music still. And I know, like you said, a lot of people aren't doing that. A lot of people are just like, put single out.
Yes.
But, I think right now it would be in my best interest to just start pumping out a ton of singles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what I feel my next route is going to be. And when it comes to just like the stuff I write, I try to post on my Instagram just like little clips of stuff so I can get feelers on.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, because, obviously if I feel like I'm just writing a dead end song, nobody has a positive reception to it, I'm not going to just keep like working on something and using my time towards that. I'd rather put it on something that, I got some positive feedback from. And I've had, like, I think in the last like couple weeks, I've been putting out little feelers of stuff that I've written. And before, when I was writing songs, I had like an active SoundCloud account. So I was actually just putting my acoustic demos out there. And that's where I was getting a lot of feedback too. But yeah, when it comes to like when I'm actually starting to release more and more stuff, I'll probably do a couple singles here first, and then hopefully I can just put out like an entirely different project, like, and get into the studio. Cause like a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now is like, I'm self-producing it.
Yep.
So I'm still kind of learning all that, but I do hope to get like in a studio down here with some people that know what they're doing for real and putting out an entire album, or even if it's just an EP to start, like down the road.
Absolutely.
Because I ultimately like I said, I still, when I listen to music, I look for the albums coming out. You know, singles are fun, but I like just getting an entire body of work that you can just kind of analyze.
Absolutely. Would you ever re-record the songs that you already did?
Would I ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see myself recording Montgomery Drive, because right now it's just acoustic.
Mhm.
I can see myself trying to put like some full band stuff together with that one.
Very cool. So now, obviously, kind of on that same, on that same wavelength with the singles and albums, and another hot topic in music right now. You've mentioned, labels and stuff reaching out to you, and once again, country's in its own little silo with a lot of that stuff, where it's a lot different than other genres, where and maybe it's just because I'm not looking hard enough and I'm not as involved, but it seems like that genre is still very label driven, comparatively speaking. Do you see yourself, looking to go the label route, as a whole? And maybe, it's still early on and you have no idea and you're still keeping your options open, but I know some people are steadfast. So where do you kind of fall on that spectrum?
I mean, honestly, it's starting to branch out to where there's like a lot more independent artists that are becoming like, they're doing it by themselves, and they're becoming like very like well-known, respected. I mean, right now, like I'm just going to start pumping stuff out by myself. If a label were to reach out to me and I thought it was a good fit, yeah, like let's do it. But I think for the foreseeable future, I'm just going to try to be an independent artist and do it all myself and find my own points of contact and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, being signed to like a big name label out there, definitely not a bad idea either. That's like, they can promote the hell out of you too. So I mean, yeah, down the road, it's a goal, I would say, but I don't want to look too far down the road when I know I've barely started.
Absolutely. So I guess kind of on that same note, then, do you I mean, another thing about Nashville, what I would consider, if not, even greater than LA, songwriting capital of the world. Country music is notoriously known for, basically being a songwriting genre, a songwriter group type genre. Have you, since you've been down there building these connections, or is that something, you want to write for other people, with other people, or are you more close to the vest? Because some people have their own songs, like, nope, anything I write is me. Or do you see yourself being more, hey, if it fits better with this artist, or if I can get with this group and submit it here, where do you kind of, see yourself on that spectrum?
I'm definitely open to, writing with other people, stuff that I write, giving my stuff to other people. The mindset I feel like you got to have is, even if you're like super attached to a song, and unless it's something that's like super personal to you, like you got to think, if somebody wants it, that's like could do something with it, that you feel would do something with it, you got to just have the mindset of, if you wrote something this good, you can do it again, write another hit.
Absolutely.
So, and ultimately you want your songs heard, and a writer's credit, like you said, like this is a very songwriting driven genre and place. So, just to have your songs cut by anyone is a unique thing in and of itself. So I'm more than open to giving people some of my stuff that I've written, or collaborating with people and having them record it versus me. Like, just basically, it's all just down to fit and who thinks it would make more sense for them to record it or not. And I'm still hoping to get involved in all that. I haven't written with anybody yet. I've been going out to writers rounds, like kind of just trying to pull inspiration from people and talking to artists after that and stuff. But I'm trying to set up some writes here soon and see where that can take me. And, it'll be an entirely new experience for me. So I don't know how it'll go, but I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, on that same note, so we've kind of hit on, the past, the present, and now I'll ask a question about the future. So I know you said you're kind of taking it day by day, which I think, is obviously the right approach. But if you had a crystal ball and, could really, I'll say a crystal ball and three wishes from a genie here, what would, the next 6-12 months, in a perfect case scenario for Brian Goyette, what would it look like?
Just getting really, comfortable and confident in my sound, getting out there and playing as much as I can. Hopefully have a couple more songs that I put out to streaming services, and just, you know, kind of just keep getting better, keep practicing, keep getting better, write a hell of a lot more songs, advance my songwriting skills, and, you know, just meet some good people that have the same visions as I do, you know, because at the end of the day, like, I know I can't do it alone. I know I gotta find some good people to have in my corner. And yeah, man, I just want to get better. I want to get better at it, and I want to get more confident in myself, more comfortable with the scene down here, and hopefully just, you know, at the end of the day, I don't want to lose sight of the reason why I'm doing it. It's because I love music. But, you know, it'd be cool to see some success here soon, and hopefully have music start to become just like my ultimate career path, like I said.
Absolutely. So I mean, I'll wrap up with this. I know we went a little bit over what the time we had slotted, but kind of in that same vein, I guess. Everyone who goes into music, you know, there's usually some sort of underlining, especially as I know you're not in it specifically like for money. So if there's one kind of, you know, I know you're so early, and to ask this question, I know it's a big undertaking, but is there like a legacy, you know, or a message that you really want to leave with, you know, with the music that you're putting out?
I think one thing that, if I were to be remembered for it by, is just that, you know, there was no like gimmicks or anything. Like, I'm just for the music, man. I've always had and felt just like such a personal connection to music, like dating back to when I was like, I couldn't even tell you, like in elementary school, just like listening to songs and like just getting emotional and getting goosebumps for it. Like, and like I said, like when I'm doing my covers and stuff, I hope that people can feel like just how into it I am. And that's really what I want it to be all about. Like, I just love to sing, dude. I love music. I always have, and I always will. And I just hope people, at the end of the day, if you're a fan of mine, you like, that's what you pull. Like, I do it because I freaking love it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that answer. So I guess I'll leave it at this, you know, for anyone who's made it this far, where can they find you and how can they support you?
Yeah, man, you guys can find me on Instagram. It's where I post a lot of my covers. It'd be at Brian Goyette Music. Brian, Brian, Goyette, Goyette. And then if you want to find me on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you stream music, you can search my name. You'll see a picture of me and my single, Montgomery Drive. That also features the two other songs, Hey and Never Off the Table, like we mentioned.
Awesome. Well, truly, man, thank you so very much for your time. Like, I can't express enough, obviously, how proud I am of you. And I just want to see you continue crushing it, man. So thank you so much for your time, and obviously, like, best wishes moving forward as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you boys for having me. Hope Arizona's treating you guys well too.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly, I think it's snowing right now in Wisconsin, and I'm looking out at a 90-degree day. So I'll take this any day of the week.
It was 37 degrees when I woke up here for work today. So
I'm definitely happy where I wound up here. But thank you so much, man. And I truly look forward to talking soon.
yeah, appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Take care of you, Goy.
Have a good one.
Sir.
Bye.